Yo, what's going on, Senpai Squad? Welcome back to a brand new video, and today we've got the review for episode 61 of Boruto. And my god, this episode was probably, in fact, there's no probably about it, this episode was hands down the best episode of the entire series, and honestly, I'm going to put it out there, it may even be one of the best episodes in the entire Naruto franchise. Yeah, I know. Take that, Boruto haters. I went there, I said it. This episode was genuinely incredible and did, without a doubt, give me goosebumps. In fact, it was that good. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, but I've decided to record this in my Hokage jacket because why not? So one thing I want to touch on straight away is the voice acting in this episode, because that's something that gets overlooked a ton in anime. And this episode, it was overlooked because, my god, the voice acting in this episode was 10 out of 10. It was one of those episodes where the voice acting genuinely gave you shivers down your spine. Like there was a bit where Sarada screamed at Shinki while she was charging at him, and you could tell it felt real, it felt genuine. It felt like she was genuinely angry and wanted to win. And those little things, along with things such as animation and soundtracks, but voice acting especially, is one of those little things that really is overlooked upon, but can make or break an episode. Now, with the voice acting out of the way, I want to touch on the fight, because we go straight into the fight in this episode. It starts off with Boruto reminiscing and thinking about all the, thinking about all of his Leaf Village class teammates, wishing him good luck, go out there, win, do your best, and all that. And obviously that's kind of foreshadowing towards the end of the episode, because that's the mood completely changes by then. But going into the fight, and I don't know where to start with this fight. In fact, this episode review will be unstructured as hell, because I just don't know where to start. So the fight, I'm going to put it out there, Shinki is actually insane. He is one of, if not my favourite new generation character. He's easily my favourite new generation character from outside the Leaf. I know we've not really seen many at all, but Shinki is genuinely incredible. He's so much fun to watch. His story, it's so mischievous. I definitely think there's a lot of darkness shrouded within him, especially in his past and in his story going forward. And his jutsu, don't even get me started on his jutsu. That whole fist with the lightning and everything, that was absolutely just out of this world. It looked incredible. However, the one we've got to touch on is his freaking wings. He has wings. He makes wings and can fly out of sand. What the hell? That is, without a doubt, the coolest thing I've seen any of the new ninja do. Without a doubt. I'm sorry. Sage mode is freaking cool. But is it a flying Shinki? I don't think it is. Another thing I want to touch upon is Boruto and Sarada actually teaming together. They did this really, really cool jutsu. I mean, it didn't amount to much, but it was when Boruto summoned his shadow clones and he put some lightning style in his shuriken, and then Sarada did that lightning ball technique which she copied from Buntan way back, and basically she lined 5 of them up, and Boruto threw his shuriken. They went into the lightning ball, and then at the speed of light, they just zoom. They just went firing straight at Shinki. But you'd think that'd be powerful enough to take out most people in the Chunin exam. But Shinki just brings his hands together, catches them with his big iron sand fist, and then just crushes them. And they explode. Shinki is so good. This fight was genuinely incredible. I'm going to be saying words like incredible, amazing, fantastic. So much I think in this episode review. But that Shinki, now I'm starting to understand in last episode when Mitsuki said, I don't even know if I would have took you out in my Sage mode. I still think he would have took out Shinki in his Sage mode, but before I thought Sage mode Mitsuki would just body Shinki, but now I'm not sure. Now I think Shinki would genuinely put up a fight against Sage mode Mitsuki, and I genuinely mean that. But anyway, the fight carries on, and there's this bit. This is the bit I was saying about with the voice acting, where Sarada charges at Shinki, and just the scream she lets out, it felt so genuine. However, he's got this, like, he creates like feathers out of the iron sand, and they go firing down towards Sarada. But she's got a little like bit of iron sand on her back. So Boruto notices all the feathers that have landed in the ground and missed, then all of a sudden get pulled straight back towards Sarada. And then there's this bit where the screen turns red and you just see a black silhouette of Sarada with like hundreds of these feathers just impaled in it, and she lets out this scream. And honestly, I mean, should she have died? I don't know. She definitely should have been more injured in my opinion, but it doesn't really matter. My god, Shinki just absolutely decimated her, and then he just hit her out and she went flying into the wall. And my theory / prediction thing that I uploaded the other day, saying about how when do I think Boruto is going to cheat and how he'll cheat and stuff, I said that I think Shinki will knock out Sarada and then that'll tip Boruto over the edge to cheat. No spoil. You've already seen the episode. I was right, and I think that was the obvious and best way they could have introduced him cheating. Anyway, after Sarada's death, as such, I'm just going to call it death because it was one of those type of things where you were like, oh my god, she's dead, but obviously she wasn't. After that, Boruto just got tipped over the edge. You could tell how concerned and worried and sad he was. You could see when all the feathers were flying towards Sarada and Boruto screamed her name and was holding his arm out. I thought right then he was going to cheat, but no, Sarada got knocked out, and I think you could tell he got very angry then, and you could tell he was getting tipped right over the edge. And then we got like the final blow. I think we got some, like, you saw Boruto, he was thinking about everyone, and then him and Shinki were really going at it. Boruto was incredibly angry at Shinki. He was treating him like a villain. And I thought Boruto and Shinki by the end of this arc would become friends, and I still think they do. But will it be in this arc? I don't think so at all. He was genuinely furious with Shinki and went in with the intent, not necessarily to kill, but how do I put it another way? Absolutely just destroy him. Does that work out better? I'm not too sure. But Shinki created this huge, like, iron sand pyramid spear thing, and it went straight to Boruto, and Boruto used his Boruto stream, which is starting to become like it generally might become his signature technique. I mean, I was quite surprised. I just thought that was going to be his version of like Uzumaki Barrage, but maybe not. Anyway, he does his Boruto stream, and he managed to actually stop the spear for a little bit, and it starts to crack just a little bit, but then Shinki then starts to push back more. He starts pushing Boruto back, and Boruto's losing, and that's when we get it, guys. I knew Boruto was going to produce some sort of crazy jutsu to knock out Shinki, because as soon as Katasuke gave him a new little jutsu pill thing, whatever goes into the scientific ninja tools, I knew something big was coming. And my god, out of nowhere, Boruto produces purple lightning, which is obviously, we know, is Kakashi's signature jutsu. And right then, I mean, before he even did it, I think Mitsuki noticed previously in the episode that Boruto had a ninja tool. I think that was quite obvious. And then when Boruto used purple lightning, you could see in Naruto's face. Right then, Naruto was like, yeah, that's not happening. There's no way. Because we didn't actually get to see the scene of oh, by the way, I'm just going to quickly finish off this fight portion. Basically, Boruto uses purple lightning, absolutely just obliterates Shinki, just destroys him, absolutely wrecks him, which was not necessarily satisfying to see, but it just shows how strong these scientific ninja tech tools actually are. Also, while Boruto is actually contemplating using the scientific ninja tool to use purple lightning, we get to see all these flashbacks and him thinking about everyone, and you really get to see, again, more of Boruto's inner struggles, which is quite a weird one because we all like to see Boruto's inner struggles, but at the same time, we don't because, well, we don't want him struggling. But yeah, after that, basically, Boruto's announced the winner, everyone's shouting his name and screaming like, yes, go on Boruto, that is so good, and then Naruto jumps down, and we didn't, what was interesting is we didn't get to see this scene, because obviously in the movie, he says, Hinata, use your Byakugan on Boruto's right arm, or left arm, whichever one it was, and she says it's some sort of scientific ninja tool, but this time, no, Naruto knew straight away, which I think makes more sense. I mean, this dude who's purple lightning, it's pretty obvious that he didn't learn that, so Naruto jumps straight down, and he actually explains in front, I mean, it was a pretty dick move, to be fair, in front of everyone. He even looks at the crowd and looks around and says, this guy, this kid, this freaking kid, used a scientific ninja tool which is prohibited in the exams. And I'm like, yo, Naruto, I know you're in a public place, but you don't need to shout it and tell everybody, because once Naruto explains the situation, Boruto's getting called a fraud, he's being booed by everyone, and then there's this one scene which just breaks my heart. You see Shikadai stand up nearly in tears. He's saying, Boruto, please tell me you didn't use that in our fight. Please, I'm begging you, don't tell me. And then you see Boruto again, almost in tears. He's saying, listen, it's not like that. And then Katasuke, I believe, comes out. Or we see Sarada, well, nearly in tears. And then that's when Katasuke appears, and they did a good job of expanding that little Katasuke bit, because there's this bit where Katasuke like just looks at Boruto, and I can't remember his exact words, but he really looks down upon Boruto and degrades him, and that's when you see Boruto's face drop, because we know Boruto and Katasuke have had this incredible relationship, like they've been best friends. Katasuke was the only person that actually saw Boruto as Boruto and not some kid or the Lord Seventh's son. So seeing Boruto get spoken to like that by the man that he was best friends with and looked up to, was, you could tell in his shot, he was heartbroken that Katasuke would essentially just use Boruto like that. And that, because obviously we all hated Katasuke in the movie, but by just doing that, they've made Katasuke such a more hated character. Now obviously, we know he's not always been that bad. He was, like I said, he was Boruto's best friend, but that scene just turned him into one of those characters which you hate. But it's one of those characters which you're made to hate, which it's a bit of an odd one, because yeah, I don't know, it's just that little scene of Katasuke just looking down on Boruto. It just blew me away. This episode was just incredible. I've said it again. How many times is that? Can someone make some sort of this episode was amazing, incredible, fantastic counter? Thank you. And then after that, to finish off the episode, we got the Otsutskis appear. They didn't slam into the ground this time, which is really disappointing, because I loved it when Kinshiki, just out of nowhere, just boom, just pummels himself, just slams straight into the ground. I loved that, but no, they just kind of are just floating in the air, watching everyone. And one thing I want to quickly point out about that is, that's quite interesting, is Urashiki isn't with them, which is a bit of an interesting one, because there's lots of speculation regarding Urashiki, if he'll just die, if he's going to play a much bigger role than what we think, because we've not seen him in the manga at all. At all. He wasn't in the movie arc of the manga. He's a completely new anime-only edition. But he's played such a huge role that people, myself included, think he's going to play a much bigger role in the story. So I don't think he's going to die. But there's also some people saying, obviously we see in episode 1, this is a little bit of a spoiler. I'm not going to go into, I'm not going to spoil too much, but you manga readers, you know there's a certain someone who we think might have something to do with the certain disposal of Urashiki. So I really don't know what to make, because obviously we haven't seen Urashiki with Momoshiki since they attacked B. Urashiki's just been doing his own thing. In fact, I don't even think Momoshiki is too sure what he's doing. So it's going to be interesting to see when and how Urashiki's going to pop up out of nowhere. I think Gaara's going to say something when he sees him. He'll be like, no guys, there's another one. He attacked me. So It's going to be very interesting. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I want, actually, know what? Hold it right there. I just want to quickly comment on the next episode. I can't wait for the next episode. It does look very copy and pasty from the movie, but I'm not too bothered because this part of the movie is fantastic anyway. So copy and paste it all you like. Add in 1 or 2 extra little extended bits. Fine by me. But I don't really rate the episodes anymore, but I think I have to give this a 10 out of 10 because it was that good. And I never give 10 out of 10 this episode. Like, if you guys know me, I very rarely give 10 out of 10. I'm not giving a 10 out of 10 in Boruto, in the Boruto anime at all yet. So if you haven't seen this episode, freaking what are you doing? Go watch it. Stop the review. Just go and watch it, please. Thank you guys for watching. Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Subscribe to become a member of the Senpai Squad if you're not already. Leave comments down below. Let's get a discussion going about this episode. And I'll see you guys in another video. But until then, peace.